Hello everyone and welcome to the Digimon and Digimon card game unboxing video. This time I'm going to be opening up my second BT-09 Digimon card game booster box, which is for X Record. Now, as I mentioned, this is my second one, and what I like to typically do with my booster box unboxing is I have one where I talk about kind of what's in the set or my reactions to the box itself. And then my second one is also still my reaction to the box itself, but also a bit of a discussion about something that has something somewhat related to that set. So this time I'm going to be talking about Tri and various complaints that I've heard about Tri and my own complaints and whether or not I actually enjoyed Tri. Looking back now, it's been a couple of years and stuff like that. So of course we do have these additional box toppers, which I usually open at the end, and I'll do that provided I don't, of course, forget that they exist, and I usually try not to. So let's make sure I don't run out of space as soon as I put down 3 cards, which I usually tend to do. So it's also a little bit warmer today than the day where I did my first box video, so hopefully we don't have any overheating problems. And I'm hoping we don't. So let's get started. So, Digimon Adventure Tri. Obviously this came out a few years ago, and I watched each movie part as they came out on Crunchyroll, and it started off more like a where are they now? And, oh yeah, also, if you haven't seen Tri yet, I will be spoiling Tri, and I'll be mentioning a little bit of what happens in Kizuna as well, and I'll also be sort of saying whether Kizuna is better or worse than Tri. Yeah, it's worse. Kizuna is worse than Tri. But, yeah, so spoilers for those. I will be more or less just spoiling Tri outright the whole video, but if you want to avoid Tri spoilers, mute this video or watch Tri first. If you want to avoid Kizuna spoilers, I will be more or less signposting when I'm talking about Kizuna. It's mainly a Tri video, so I'll be more or less just talking about Tri this video rather than Kizuna, but I will be mentioning if I'm about to say something about Kizuna. So yeah, let's get into it. I've already messed up my piles. Anyway, so Bakumon, speaking of Tri, so which is a good part to start because I actually enjoyed Tri until this guy sort of entered the story, which is a shame because I actually do like Bakumon. I'm glad that Bakumon / Tapiamon, or whatever you want to call it, did actually appear in Tri. I liked that because it's one of those Digimon that has been around forever and hasn't really shown up much. I mean, it showed up in Frontier, and that's about it. Like, it's not really shown up. And we actually got it as an original chosen. And as excited as I was that we were finally getting something about the original chosen in Digimon, which is something that I've always been like really interested by, it kind of happened in the worst / best way. On one hand, I absolutely adored the first 5 minutes of Tri Chapter 4, which of course shows what happens with the original chosen and their final battle. And this is something that had already been kind of mentioned in the Digimon novels, where the original chosen had their partner Digimon, and those partner Digimon ended up evolving into the holy beasts, you know, Azulongmon and all those friends there, which we never really got to see much of them in Adventure. We only got to see Azulongmon in 02, but besides that, we didn't actually get to see them all that much. And of course, the original chosen were fighting against the Dark Masters, and the Holy Beast ended up sealing the Dark Masters away until, obviously, the events of Adventure happened. And the chosen were required again to save the world, but obviously they were the new chosen. And I just adored... No, I do not have a green pile yet. But yeah, I adored getting to see these original chosen finally after so many years of thinking about them and having theories about these original chosen. And a lot of people had theories in around like the first 3 chapters about... Well, everyone's always had crack theories about who the original chosen are. the English dub kind of had a bit of an oopsie in the original season of Digimon, so that was Digimon Adventure. And they had Yamato, or Matt rather, his father recognized Gabumon despite never actually meeting him. So that was a little bit suspicious. It was never explained why he knew what Gabumon was. I think it was just an error in their dialogue that they gave. Like maybe they thought that because he appeared as Garurumon, and he was kind of like, oh yes, of course, I know Garurumon. He's Gabumon. Maybe they kind of forgot that he hadn't already seen Gabumon at this point. But yeah, it was kind of an error. But everyone always said that one of the original Chosen was indeed Yamato's father. Mainly because the English version had that as a bit of an oopsie. But it's an oopsie I like. It's a likeable oopsie. I liked that. But yeah, so as soon as any adult characters appeared in the franchise, it was always like, so-and-so is an original child. And that was also the case when Tri started airing. So, as I mentioned, I watched Tri as it released on Crunchyroll, which was the same day as it aired in theatres in Japan, which was always pretty cool. So everyone sort of had their theories about how Daigo and Maki were the original Chosen, and that, of course, was confirmed at the start of part 4. And it was done in such a beautiful way. They had like it as a silent movie style. They showed that Maki was not only lost her partner Digimon because of a sacrifice, she also got possessed by homeostasis, which we've seen Hikari get possessed by in the original adventure. So that was pretty cool. It was a few different callbacks to things that happened in the original adventure that never really got explained other than, well, that happened. But, oh yes, we got a secret, because we didn't get any of the secret cards in my first box. Oh no, my phone is too hot for the camera, so I better start speeding up and ripping on Tri harder, I guess. But yeah, so that was a great start to the 4th chapter. However, it got bad from there. I was one of the few that didn't mind Mako in the first 3 parts. I thought she was fine. However, chapter 4 very much just decided to try to get me to like Mako when I already kind of did. I didn't really, like, she was just a character. I didn't mind that she existed, that she was there at all. It was fine. But then there was that, I can't remember was it 4 or 5, but both of them were pretty hard in it. But one part in particular went really into the characters just spending like half an hour telling Mako that she's okay and that they love her, and it just went on for far too long. That whole scene could have been about, well, oh, that's one of the cards I didn't get in my first unboxing. That's called Grandis Kuwagumon. So yeah, that was kind of annoying, because I didn't need convincing that Mako was a cool character. Like, I thought that was kind of nice, how we introduced another Chosen to the mix. Like, I didn't mind that. And it also added a new character. It added some plot with Meikumon and the infection. I was fine with that. But the characters having to... Have I mixed up my piles? No, I'm just very silly. But yeah, the characters having to basically convince me that Mako was someone I should like, that made me like her a lot less, and I ended up really not liking her because of that. That whole scene kind of ruined her for me, and people was being really anti-Mako after the first chapter, which I thought that, like, she was barely there. She kind of just showed up and she was like, oh, I have a Digimon and a Digivice too, and that was it. Like, I don't know how people could hate her over something that was, all in all, fairly minor. Oh, I don't think I opened that one either. I don't think so. I can't remember, but I think I'm missing 21 cards from this set. Missing Maki and Daigo and the non-parallel Magnamon, X-Antibody Magnamon rather. But yeah, so it kind of went downhill from chapter 4. But chapter 1, 2, and 3 gradually just got better and better. Oh, I don't think I have that one either. Rise Greymon X-Antibody, that's pretty cool. But yeah, so where's my yellow? There's my yellow pile. But yeah, I thought that 1, 2, and 3 were great. 1 was a very good where are they now kind of thing. A lot of people say it's slow, but yeah, I agree, it is slow, but I think it's understandably slow. The characters, we kind of get to see that they're not exactly super duper close, because the only thing that was more or less holding them together was the fact that they were Digidestined or chosen children, and that made me feel kind of realistic. Like, no, well, why would they? They're kind of only friends because of being chosen children, and the only characters who were kind of friends before were like Tai, Sora, and Koshiro, I think, from memory, and obviously, you know, the siblings. But well, the siblings as in with each other, because, you know, they were born and stuff. But yeah, it was never really. It was kind of. I never expected them to still be friends, and then the epilogue had them be friends, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess they could still hang out. That's fine. But I like the fact that there wasn't like they had their own separate lives. They're all kind of growing up separately, which is. Oh, I think that one might be a different one. I think I said that was from Digimon World 2000. No, not just Digimon World 2. But again, I'm not super familiar with that because it didn't come out here. And if you want more talk about Digimon World games and X antibodies, check out my first video on this set if you haven't already. But yeah, so the first chapter was fine. But where are they now? Kind of like, it was slow, yes, but I didn't think it was necessarily a bad thing. And then we have, I think I also don't have that one. But I thought that was all very necessary. The second chapter, I think, is probably my favourite. I really like how we have both Mimi and Joe having their own kind of inner conflict. Mimi has always been someone who goes ahead with whatever she wants, and that sometimes can upset people, but other times it's good because it makes people do things they may not have already done without her pushing them along. So we got to see her kind of feel like, is she really this Jikochu or narcissist as the English dub had it? And it was just, that was really an emotional moment. It was like, it was something that really spoke to me as someone who has had that own inner turmoil and distress, because hey, I'm really passionate about the things I'm passionate about, and if other people aren't passionate at all, am I bad for being passionate and they have to go along because they don't? Oh, that's one I didn't have in the other one, Ordinamon. I do not like her design. It just, I mean, maybe that's the point. It's kind of meant to be very upsetting, and it is. But yeah, so Mimi's kind of struggle there, Joe's struggle with, you know, his own future, which is something he's always had. That was also very emotional. It was probably the most realistic part of the whole, of all Digimon, actually. It felt more like a, just an everyday story amongst people. Like, I don't feel like the Digimon really had anything to do with that, and it's probably as close as we'll ever get to a slice of life Digimon series. Still don't have Maki or Daigo. That's unfortunate. I'll have to buy them from someone else on the interwebs. But yes, chapter 2 is probably my favourite. Was fairly realistic. And then we have chapter 3, which was very emotional. But honestly, as much as I was kind of like, oh, who is the evil Kaiser? Oh, it's evil Jedi, I guess. It probably could have just ended at the rebooting of the digital world. Like, it didn't have to continue on into anything past that. I actually thought that while this would have been a bittersweet ending, I feel like Tri ending just as, like, the screen goes, reboot successful, and then just never doing anything and just being a complete, like, just ignoring the epilogue in 02 and just saying that's no longer canon. That would have been a sad ending, but I think I would have liked it. But yeah, then we had chapter 5, which was just more of Mako is really important and everyone loves her, and kind of, I can't really remember what happens other than that, and I'm pretty sure that's right. I think Tai dies at one point, but I think that also happens the start of chapter 6. And then chapter 6 kind of almost made up for it. I thought it was just okay. I think it was probably, I say the same thing about chapter 6 Tri as they do with Bad Adventure Colon is that at that point that's as good as they probably could have ended it with how it went, which I guess isn't a bad thing, but Tri just sort of went. It started. Oh, my Tamagotchis are beeping in the background. Tri started really well and then couldn't keep up the momentum, and I don't have Daigo or Maki, which is a shame. Unless they're in this, I don't think they're both going to be in this pack, but it would be nice. I don't think, I don't have them. I'll have to buy them from someone on the interwebs. And then there's Kazuna, which I guess, again, spoilers if you haven't already seen Kazuna. Kazuna is definitely worse because, oh, by the way, one last thing on Tri. They brought back the Dark Ocean, and they had Alphamon, and they didn't do anything with Alphamon or the Dark Ocean. And yes, that's the two I wanted were Tokamon, which I got in the first box, and Jellymon's baby form. So that's kind of cool. But, yeah, so Maki went off into the Dark Ocean, never to be seen again. That sucked. That was just terrible. And then my complaints about Kazuna is that Kazuna is so much worse because, again, spoilers for Kazuna. Skip, like, I guess a minute, I don't know, or just mute for a minute. Is that... Oh, I don't have that one. Cool. That's a cool Wizardmon. But, yeah, the Kazuna had basically elements from our war game because it's a Digimon movie and they kind of do the battle on the net quite a lot. And then it had Hurricane Touchdown as the stealing of the other chosen children and Wizardmon again, but the non-foil version. I'd like some more new things so I don't have to buy lots of promos. And then the part that I hate the most is the fact that the big bads, and also if you've unmuted it, again, spoilers, I'm about to say, the big bad's motivation, which is Manoa, is because her Digimon, she's an older Digidestined, had a Digimon maybe earlier than the other kids, her Digimon died, and that made her crazy and evil. So we had the same thing with Maki. So it was just Maki's story again, but this time she decided not to strangle her Digimon. And, oh, that's really cool art of Deltamon! Yo! Oh, that's great! Oh, I love that! Look at him! I love him so much. But, yeah, so Kazuna worse than Tri. Tri could have done better, but it kind of was hurt by the fact that it had to convince me to like Mako, which is something that I already did. I already didn't mind Mako as a character. I just wish that she was just... I wish that they didn't have to go over and tell me why I should like Mako when I didn't really particularly hate her to begin with. I know a lot of people did, but I'm fairly certain that them trying to convince people, like them being the writers trying to convince us to like Mako, made people who hated her hate her even more. So that's kind of a shame, because she was fine beforehand. It would have been nice to have another chosen child. That's kind of cool. I'm glad that she appeared in Kazuna, but very, very, very briefly, and not a speaking role. Which is, again, kind of annoying about Kazuna, is that it had all these cameos, and it felt more like a nostalgia fest than anything else. It was like a nostalgia grab is probably a good word for Kazuna, more than Tri probably, and Tri was very much a nostalgia grab. But Tri did a lot for the franchise, kind of rebooted it and gave it a bit of life. Same with the game for the Xbox 360 and the PS3, All-Star Rumble, which I'm fairly certain everybody bought it because they wanted to vote with their wallet and say, make more Digimon stuff in English. And I don't think that many people played it, which is fine. I had it on the Xbox 360. I still do. I just don't have a 360 anymore. But yeah, I don't think many people. My R2D2 Tamagotchi is going off in the background. But yeah, those are kind of the things about Tri. Is it as bad as people say? No, it's not. But I think it might be better to watch now if someone hasn't watched it already, because watching it as it came out, like one movie at a time, several months apart, that was kind of not super fun. Because if you would have all these predictions and all these theories and all these expectations, and of course, whenever you have expectations about anything, it ends up not quite being what you expected. nor what you wanted. And yeah, so if you haven't seen Tri already, definitely watch it. It's definitely worth a watch. It's not as terrible as everyone says it is. Kizuna probably does deserve more hate. Kizuna deserves more hate than Tri, because it's just everything you've seen in Digimon again. But the main plot points have all been done before in other Digimon things. I wanted something unique, and Tri felt more unique than the other, than Kizuna, rather. And yeah, so those are my thoughts on Digimon Adventure Tri. What do you think about Tri, about Kizuna? Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with me. If I would rank the parts, I think I'd say like maybe 2, 3, 1, 4. Oh no, maybe 6, 4, 5. The only reason that 4 is good is because of the opening like 10 minutes, because, or maybe, I think just the first 10 minutes of chapter 4 makes it better than chapter 6, but only because of that original Chosen animation, which is probably my favourite thing in all of Tri, which, even though it's from one of the bad parts, it's still good. So, and also Tri is probably better than the reboot altogether. So yes, those are my thoughts about Tri. Let me know what your thoughts about Tri are in the comments. Like this video if you thought it was a fun video to watch / listen to. And subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, I'll see you on the next one. Bye!